I can't hear you either, Alex. I'll do it. You try to figure that out. Welcome to Brown Bag Bets. I'm your host, Alex Christenson. I'm joined always by Andy Molitor. It's your daily dose of quick hit handicapping, sports stuff, and betting and gambling. God, I'm horrible at that.
Can you hear me
Are you back,
laughing?
Alex?
Yeah, I
I
think so.
absolutely can now. Oh,
Okay.
I had to step into the
Not a
A
mute
chair
issue.
there,
That
and
was weird.
it did not go good. And as you can tell too, like here's a little primer on Andy. If I'm wearing glasses, that means I'm hungover. So like I have an eye headache and I want to put contacts in.
Well, you
But
mentioned yesterday
yeah,
that you went straight to the bar instead of work, and I figured that was probably not the best sign. I mean, did you just kind of ride that wave?
kind of rode that way. Kind of rode that wave when I got home too. And yeah, been a weird week. Been a weird week, but it is Friday now. We're into Super Wildcard Weekend. I'll go over my final NFL card. I might even put it in on the app eventually today. God, that's a good call. I've struggled this morning. I did not put these in on the app yet. I'm going to do this while we're doing the show. I don't have a lot of preamble. I think we'll probably just get right into the picks because we have hoops. We've got pro hoops. We've got golf picks. We've got tennis picks. We've got outright picks. We've got NFL picks. I'm not sure why. And no idea why that mic thing was the weirdest thing because you were talking to us off air. We come on air and all of a sudden you were just I think you might have been goofing with me. I think you just might have been mouthing it and faking us out
It's
on a
possible.
Friday. But Friday hoops, a lot lighter card. There's not a lot of games today. Yesterday was subpar. It went okay. Didn't wasn't the worst day. Wasn't the best day. Ended up and technically on the app I am 1-0 today because one of the games I took yesterday was Hawaii. It was on the island. That game started at like midnight Eastern. So that game counts towards today. 1-0. Looking for a 5-0 day. Mostly sides today. Not a lot of totals I liked. There was one that I'm crossing off with Manhattan. I'm hearing Manhattan maybe missing some players. I have a massive disparity in that price. I'm not sure what's going on. I did forget to mention South Alabama one. The lean came through. That's the more important than any of the bets. But yeah, but today will be just Davidson pick. Monmouth minus 3.5, Fresno minus 1.5. I think that's a bit of a later game in Virginia. Commonwealth University over 130 points combined scored with their opponents. Yeah, if Manhattan is fully healthy and everyone's there, you know what? I might make that a lean plus 15 on Bookmaker right now. But for now, just those four. I don't have a lot of analysis. Like I said, it's Friday. We're just going to rip through some picks, talk to the chat. Patrick's got the Rona. Hopefully he's feeling better. Not Batman kissing Robin Patrick, but other Patrick, Patrick McCann. And hopefully, and also more worse than having the Rona, he went on an 0-8 streak yesterday. So we wish you back from the. They used to call that the flu. It's funny when you'd have a day where you didn't win a bet. Used to call that the flu. I don't know if anyone says that anymore. Like I had the flu yesterday. Oh shit! It's like an old timey message board thing, I think. But either way,
It's so
hopefully,
passe.
yeah, hopefully you figure out both things, get better on both both fronts, and we take in the Bulls game tonight. Bulls are up for tonight, right?
You know what? I got to pull it up. I think the
Or is
Bulls
that
are playing
tomorrow?
tonight. There's so many stinking things going on. Ugh, it's just a mess. But I did not pick the Bulls. Hold on a second. Yes. Yeah, the Bulls are playing the Warriors tonight. I can't believe I forgot that. This is how many things are going on. It should be quite a fun game, but nothing really stuck out to me there. It's been hard to put my finger on the Warriors, especially it looks like with Draymond kind of iffy and them reintegrating Clay here. Probably a good spot.
Yeah.
What did your model spit out? Bulls 130, Warriors 100?
Yeah, I have Bulls by 6.5 in this spot. So this is my lean for the day. I should start giving out leans are going to go on like a 30-0 streak. These games I don't actually bet, but yeah, lean for the day. Bulls minus 3.5. I think this is playable up to 4.5, maybe at a smaller stake. I'm just gonna kind of talk like you do with the NBA stuff, but 3.5 I think is playable. So
I like
I'll
it. I
be on
think
that.
you're in the right
Is that a
spot. I had
late
it a little
game?
closer to
Is it
5.
in is it
It's in
in the
Chicago.
United? Is it still called the United Center?
It couldn't even begin to know.
I went there when I visited Chicago years ago. I didn't go in. I just went out and looked at the statue because we were in the neighborhood. But either way, it is in Chicago. It is a 6:30 Central game, so I'll be on the Bulls. Good job.
I like it. Bulls -3.5. That was not a bet for me technically, but there was another -3.5 I liked. The Cavaliers have been doing great this year, pretty good for us the last couple nights here. They go into San Antonio. I will say I might be selling basically as low as possible here on the Spurs, but the Cavaliers, when they're fully loaded, is just kind of one of the top tier teams, honestly, this year. I have this closer to 6. If I tweak some stuff, again, I get it to 6.5, almost 7. I think anything -4 or better looks good for the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. We'll see. Again, the Spurs are going home. They're getting a few guys back, but we'll see how. I love the Cavs here. I mean, they've got nobody to stop Allen and Mobley here. It should be a great night for the big men. And then Rockets Kings. I know you're not supposed to go under big totals, and actually this has moved against me a little bit, so you get a better number than I did here. But Rockets Kings, I just look at this and I can't get this total. Honestly, north of like 236. I really have to take the pace way up. There's going to have to be some sort of shooting aberration here, especially with Rashawn Holmes. I think probably coming back here for the Sacramento Kings. Again, really just a big numbers play here. I don't know if the pace will be as high as it needs to be. We'll see. Potential here for a blowout, which is always bad, obviously, for an under, but got to trust my numbers here again. We'll go under 237.5. Again, anything 237 or higher looks good to me, and you'll do better than that right now.
I agree. Yeah, it is. It's been a thing. These high totals, like they've gone over. Doesn't matter. They 236 gets bet up to 240, and it's 130, 135 game. Like it just sometimes those turn into blowouts. But trust the process. I believe in you, Alex. I think you're on the right track there. And like you said, the market is not agreeing right now, so you can get an even better number. And yeah, we're on to golf. Golf was fun yesterday. Kevin Na, defending champ, absolutely raised this course for like 13 holes. Then he didn't do a whole lot after that. Like I was worried he was going to shoot 11 under. Ended up being the solo leader. A couple of my first round leaders had some nice rounds. A couple of my DFS guys are doing all right. I need Webb Simpson to play a little better for some one and done purposes. Same thing with Abram Answer. But today I took a look at a couple guys who I thought would have decent days, just based on it's hard. Like there's this this need to like look at a player through one round of golf and try to find some sort of regression within it. Like, oh man, they're not a really good putter, but they putted really well. Like, and I almost tend to go the opposite direction with that sometimes. And I think that's probably the case with me today. I'm going to talk about the second one first with Henley over Gooch. I mean, Gooch and Seamus Power are golfers I like, but I have Russell Henley as a terribly good golfer, basically all around, who you know doesn't always doesn't always get the most out of his putter. In fact, he's kind of on average. If you take like roughly the last year, he's the kind of guy who loses strokes relative to the field with the putter. He's putting well. Like he's putting well in this tournament. Sometimes you just take that and say like he's putting well this week. He's reading these greens well. It's easier to putt here, and you don't fade him like, oh, he's gonna suddenly start putting worse tomorrow. Like the weather's not changing, his balls aren't changing, his putter's not changing, the green's not changing. I don't think you see massive regression. The way you see massive regressions are things like Jim Furyk. Like the guy's not going to have a hole in one today. That's probably something you can take to the bank. But Henley over Gooch -125, and then Patrick even mentioned it. No Furyk ace props today. Good for Jim Furyk. That guy, I found a tweet. He was a rookie on the tour in 1994. He's been around. He's been around for a while, so that's fun to see some of the older players playing well. And then Christ, I like betting on this guy, but I'm not great at saying his name. Bezuidenhout. He is a South African. I feel like I got fairly close on this one too. He's another one, not the best striker of the ball, not the best off the tee, but he is a good putter. And right now I have him playing a little better on approach than normally he would. I think that's probably sustainable on a course like that if you're striking the ball well. And this on an easier course like this, I think it's probably a little more sustainable than other places. So I'll take him over Seamus Power. I think played a little above his head yesterday. -124 for both. -124 for that one, and then Henley over Gooch is -125. So laying a little more juice than I'd like here, but I'm hesitant to lay the half strokes at a tournament like this where anybody can go out and just shoot 10 under apparently. So I'm just gonna lay the juice on both these, and we'll see how it goes. I'll have some more throughout the weekend. I'm starting to enjoy this, especially like I was watching this golf tournament as I was getting ready for bed last night. Like it's kind of nice having golf on late at night, just paying attention to the end of the tournament.
It's a nice, comfortable
Speaking
way.
of,
It
yeah,
sounds nice. Golf naps are the best. The best nap of the year is like Masters Saturday. You get it there like 1 o'clock. You kind of pass out to the sweet and subtle sounds of Vern Lundquist. You wake up, watch the last little bit of guys come in, see the
yeah,
sunset at Augusta.
you just kind of stretch out on the couch a little. Oh, that's nice.
Mm.
This is much less like that. This is deciding if you're going to stay up all night or if you're going to set an alarm for 2 in the morning to catch some matches. The Australian Open is at a very inconvenient time, and you see a lot of bleary eyes this time of year. I don't know what your plan is going forward. If you're a stay up all night kind of guy, get up early, or some people just say, I like after 2 or 3 days, I have to take a day off. I'm not going to watch any tennis tonight. I can't. I need to sleep. So, this is the stuff that is going to happen. A lot of it overnight, and you have a I need to let you start because we only have so much time, and you have a mess of Australian Open bets already.
It's a whole bunch of stuff from a timing perspective. This all starts around 7 o'clock Sunday night Eastern. They haven't released an order of play, but the first match will be 7 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. So it is great for the West Coast folks. You can catch most of it. I'll try to watch as much as I can. I probably won't watch as much as I should, but it'll be a lot of getting up and hopefully catching stuff on kind of the replay in the morning. But a ton of tennis. We've got a bunch of first round bets here. Again, kind of a first wave. I'll continue to kind of add stuff to my spreadsheet, and I'll be putting stuff on BETSPERTS here for this. This is one of the bigger tournaments. I believe just about all this stuff is on there. I still need to put this in there, but we'll start with round one. Anna Karolina Schmedlova is going to be playing against Elena Ostapenko. I'll try to be as nice as possible here. If you saw Ostapenko in her first match, she didn't look like she maybe took her off-season training as seriously as she could have. So I really like Schmedlova here, not only to win the match, but at the very least to win a set. So bet her plus 320 to win the match, and then that plus 1.5 is plus 1.5 sets. You can find it as a spread, plus 1.5 sets. Some books have it as like a kind of a prop thing. Will player A win a set? Yes, no, something like that. So poke around. You should be able to find that just about everywhere. Jacqueline Adina Christian, a player we've backed a couple times here, has got some decent tennis under her belt. I have her minus, as I look at my numbers here, minus 155, almost minus 160 over her opponent here, Greet Minin. Minin, a pretty solid player, generally a little better in doubles, has kind of popped in singles a little bit, but flattened out. And I think Christian is going to be the much better player and kind of surpass her this year. So happy to grab her here as a short favorite. Then we've got Nuria Parisas Diaz. She plays against Ohms Jabeur. There's a good chance this match might actually not happen. Jabeur picked up an abdominal injury and I guess is likely to withdraw here. But my plan here is to grab her on the money line at any book that basically is going to grade the match after the first set is completed. You can find that at plus 600. Sorry, I didn't put the number in there. And then also her to win the first set plus 350. Jabeur is somebody that will come out, at least make a solid effort. I think she might, have a good way to make it through the first set. She has kind of history of that, and then might pack it in. So played the first set, played the money line in a book that will hopefully grade the match if they complete the first set. Martina Trevisan, have her just about even here. She goes against Sai Zhang. We've had some success going against Zhang quite a bit. Again, has kind of her ranking, a lot of her statistics, beating up lesser players on tour. Not that Trevisan is the best player on tour, but I have this match pretty even here. So Trevisan plus anything looks pretty good to me here. Teresa Martinkova and Lauren Davis, the two playing some nice tennis these first couple of weeks, over 21. Anything lower than 21.5 looks great here to me. I think this will be a really competitive match. We're definitely going to see a 7-5 or a 7-6 in here somewhere, and potentially even 3 sets. And then Bronzetti here will be playing her on the money line. again, just kind of backing somebody who's been playing tennis versus somebody in Gracheva who hasn't really played much these first couple weeks, and in general is a fairly mediocre player. I look at my numbers. Bronzetti has much better hold and break stats. Generally against a lesser competition than maybe Gracheva does, but the difference is really marked to me. And again, Gracheva doesn't really have any form to speak of, so we'll grab Bronzetti, and that's it for the first chunk. Second chunk, Anna Konyu. I'm going to grab her again. Somebody we continue to back. Shelby Rogers, minus 125. Rogers is an American player who generally plays very well in Charleston and for some reason Australia as I go back and look. She really kind of ripped through playing down under last year, and I think getting a little too much respect maybe for that. Konyu playing through qualifiers, has been playing a bunch of tennis here and just kind of continues to build form. I have her actually as a short favorite here. So again, anything plus money on Konyu looks good to me. Anna Bondar. We're going to go against, sorry, I got to double check and make sure I have the right name, Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. She's someone, again, who hasn't played tennis since, basically September, October of last year. Generally starts the year very slow, similar to what we did in the match with Jabeur. I don't think that necessarily, Pavlyuchenkova is going to retire here, but she's definitely going to start slow. So I'll grab Bondar on the money line here, plus 245, and then to win the first set, plus 195. Thought about maybe the plus 1.5 sets, but it's like minus 110, minus 115. I was hoping for plus money on that. So instead, we'll just go with the first set, plus 195. I see a little more value there. Dodan Begu over 21 games. Two women that serve the ball well, generally play long matches. I have this total kind of at a juicy 21.5 myself. So anything 21 or lower will go under there. Another total, this one, depending on what book you look at, it's either Daria Gavrilova or Daria Seville. She got married and I think changed her last name, and some places have been a little slow to react. Alina Svitolina still goes by Svitolina, although she got married. Some women have made the change, some haven't. It's mostly just annoying for people like us, but look for Peterson's name, 21. Again, this is another match I think might actually even go 3 sets. Just didn't love the price there. Happy to grab 21. And then Emma Raducanu. This is actually, I think, the first time in my life backing the young English woman who was the U.S. Open champion last year. Again, still generally kind of overpriced, especially in some of the outright markets here, but goes against Sloane Stephens in her first match, not only this year, but since getting married a couple weeks ago. I don't think Stephens is going to come out here terribly strong, and Raducanu is generally the better player, I think. So happy to grab her. Honestly, anything minus 120 or better look pretty good there. So a handful of matches for us, Andy, and I guess, we've got the bracket. What do you think? Should we do some outrights?
Yeah, and a couple quick notes there. I think you and I are annoyed by the changing of the names with the marriages or non-changing and the confusion. Dan is probably just happy that they aren't hyphenating for the graphic purposes, as we already have long enough names in tennis. And it is a little ironic that you called those two slides chunks when you let off with a fade of our girl, um, our Latvian princess there, as she is looking like, yes, she
A little fluffy.
it reminded me of, do you remember the movie The Great White Hype?
Yes.
And the one boxer gets incredibly out of shape before the match. And I don't think we'll see the same sort of ending where she just all of a sudden is good. Yeah, she needs to get her training straight because she's a former slam winner. It's wild what happens with some of these younger players. But yeah, I think we should have some outrights. We don't get to do this enough because of the timing of the draws and the starts of tournaments. It doesn't land nicely on a weekday like this for us to have a draw, to have prices, and not have matches yet played. So by all means, let's get weird with it. And I'm on a couple of these with you.
Bit of a short stack. Normally in a big tournament like this, I would have a bunch of names here, but much has been made about how wide open the WTA is, and I agree that it kind of is, but it's starting to tighten up a little bit. I think instead of having maybe 15 to 20 women that could win any Grand Slam, I think we're starting to tighten up here to maybe kind of 5 to 10 women or so. As you look at the draw, just a wild result in the draw here. You've got Ashley Barty in the first quarter, and then in the same eighth as her is Naomi Osaka. So you basically wipe out everybody in the first quarter. Apologies to anybody that listened to me and took an Anisimova outright earlier. Apologies to anybody that took a Pagula outright over. Was thinking of maybe backing someone like Zachary or even Bencic there. You just kind of have to wipe out that whole quarter. You get down to the second quarter, pretty tough in general, but some softer spots here. The first name that sticks out to me, Barbara Krejcikova. Grab this number sooner rather than later. She's playing in a finals match tonight Again, not too worried about the fatigue. It's early in the season. It's a short travel spot to get back to Melbourne, and they'll give her a day off as well as day off in between matches. So with that kind of put aside here, there's definitely some value on here. Any number on Krejcikova 20 or better. Again, I don't love having her in the second quarter, which means she kind of has to go through Barrios or Osaka to get to the final, but I think she's comfortably into the quarterfinals here. In that quarterfinal match, she's looking at maybe playing somebody like Goff or Paula Badosa. Again, very challenging, but she's the much better player in that match. So happy to grab Krejcikova there in the second quarter. You get down to the third quarter. This one, again, pretty competitive, but a couple names kind of stick out. You've got Muguruza down here at the bottom. Like her chances, but she's stuck in the same quarter as Halep, who has been kind of slowly playing her way back into form. And I just didn't love Muguruza's number. She's like a third favorite to win this event, which again kind of makes sense. But I would need something again a little closer to 15 or so to back her. You look at the top part of the third quarter, Rybakina. Again, that'll be the next name we grab here. Again, anything 20-1 or better on Rybakina. She's been playing nice tennis. She withdrew from her last match with claims, I believe, of a thigh injury or something like that, but there were no signs of any injury or anything like that. It looks just kind of like a move to pack things up and get to Melbourne here. And she's at a really nice spot. She's been playing good tennis and has everything you need to succeed on these kind of courts. A little worried that she's kind of stuck close to Annette Kontaveit, but I wonder how Kontaveit's going to do here, after blowing the match with Krejcikova. I wonder how she's going to stand up mentally again. Kind of the first adversity she's had really in this deep run. You go down to the fourth quarter, and Arina Sabalenka, the number 2 seed, and just kind of depressed. If you saw some of my tweets and things, she, I don't know if she's hurt. I don't know. Well, I don't know if her body's hurt or her brain is hurt, but something is wrong. She was hitting underhand serves, just playing a really odd looking tennis. And I think you have a chance to go against her. And the luckiest person, the person who kind of benefits from that, is Iga Swiatek. I love her at 13-1. Again, I generally don't bet numbers this short, but I look here in the fourth quarter. Once quarter prices come out, I'll probably whack a few of those. Again, follow me on Twitter at _Noops. I'll have a preview out later today with kind of the full menu of things as, again, markets continue to open and you can have some more analysis here. But love Swiatek. She's been playing solid tennis, ran into Barty, pretty much the only person that's beat her. I think she wins this quarter. I like her chances against the third quarter winner, whether that be our girl Rybakina, even Muguruza. And then in the final, she's got as good of a chance to beat anybody on her day. Hopefully that's Krejcikova in the final. We've got 2 outrights and we're sitting pretty feeling good. But even if it's Barty or Osaka, I think Swiatek has a great chance to win her second Grand Slam title here. So 3 outrights for us for the Australian Open. Then it starts Sunday night.
I'm down. I haven't found a good enough Iga number yet. I'm gonna have to dig around a little.
There's some 12s. There's 113 and a handful of 12s. I think 12 is fine.
Where's the 13?
FanDuel?
Don't have to drive. FanDuel? All right. Maybe. I'll dig around.
Hold on. No, it wasn't FanDuel. Canby. Canby has 13-1.
Canby books? Okay. I will quickly go over these. I just put these in on BETSPERTS. Somebody gave me shit about only putting quarter unit. I'm like, God, did I just bet every game? I'm like, I certainly shouldn't be betting these, big. So as I bet these this morning, I'm like, I'm going to bet these smaller. I'm like, none of these are good edges. It's just, these are how I feel about these games. But I have this weird thing about in the back of my head. If I'm giving out something on multiple podcasts, I damn sure better actually bet it. So I didn't bet these very big, so that's why I put them in as quarter units on the BETSPERTS app. But I've talked about these. I'm sure some people that watch this show or listen to this podcast also listen to the deep dive. Went over a lot of this already, but the Raiders, again, in a goofy matchup between 2 first-time starting quarterbacks in the playoffs. I'm going to take that pass rush against a bad offensive line to hopefully keep this game close. I actually hope the Raiders lose and cover this number because I'd much rather see Burrow and the boys have another playoff game for entertainment standpoint. Bills Patriots. I'm tossing out the win game and looking at the game that had like 750 total yards between the two teams in a game that Mac Jones didn't even play particularly well in. I have this near the upper 40s most of the time. I don't think the cold is going to affect this game as much as it's being made out. And the only thing that ruins this is a crazy Bill Belichick game plan again. The Tampa KC teaser is, again, not Wong Burger, but it's half Wong. and I think that's fine for anyone looking to get some playoff action. The Tampa Bay leg is electric, like against a team that might really, really struggle if the wind and rain picks up and they become one-dimensional. The Eagles will really struggle, where you might not even need this teaser, but love that teaser leg. If you have open teaser legs at some books that are giving you a decent price, Tampa Bay open is awesome. But half long is okay too when you're facing the Steelers in the playoffs because KC minus 6.5. You get through the 10 and the 7, which is technically not enough. It's not enough to get you to that, that 72, 73% win percentage on single legs over the long haul of doing that. So long term, it's not a good move to tease a 12.5 down to a 6.5. But in this case, I'm fine with this. Just the big enough disparity in these two offenses right now. And I think really their only chance is to play keep away and try to run the ball effectively from Pittsburgh. We'll see how that goes. I talked about the Niners. Drew kind of put me on the straight and narrow with this one. I said I liked it. Probably wouldn't bet it if I did. We'd go money line. And then we went through that a bit. And there's a lot of scenarios where whatever team gets out to a lead is likely able to run on the other team and maintain that lead. So I don't like the Niners in comeback mode, and I despite what they did last week, and I don't love the taking the points in that instance. And in an instance where this bet loses, I don't think it's close. I think the Cowboys could run away with the game, so I'm not laying the juice here at all. But I do think the Niners are the better team. They've been playing like a better team. They've played better against playoff teams. So Niners just straight up, you can find some 145s if you look hard enough. And then Monday night cards, NFC West dogs, just bet them. I should be betting this money line too, but I have this closer to 3. I hate that Hopkins is out. I hate that this team is taking some steps back, but I really don't think taking Matt Stafford as a favorite in the playoffs is a good long-term investment, especially against a team that's faced him a couple times this year. So just more of a Rams haven't played well lately fade.
I like it.
And that'll be it. Look at us. This is a long show for a Friday.
That's all we got.
We didn't even have a guest, and we went long. So Chiefs first half would be a great teaser leg if that was allowed. There's an inside joke about that with somebody.
There was somebody that claimed to have been teasing first half lines.
Somebody, yeah, that's I joke about how like if I put something out, I feel like I have to bet it because it's like even if I'm not betting it for a lot, I give you this information. I say this is what I recommend. I feel bad if I don't actually bet it. You can tell the people on Twitter who don't actually bet because somebody did post, "Hey, I'm doing a first half teaser." Like, number one, that's not a thing, and you just told on yourself. Don't do that, please. So I would love first half teasers. Would you even give me 3 points? That'd be fun.
Something there. We got to talk to somebody. Maybe
there is something there.
To do that.
I'm sure there's alt totals if you go look at the red book. So Patrick's asking about halftime shows. I think we're going to do the night games. I don't think we're going to do all 6. I don't have the energy for that. I still have a lot of work to do in the wood shop tomorrow. And shelves to be built. I need to build these bookshelves that are taking way too long. But I think we'll do some halftimes. I'm going to watch all football all day long. Well, I think we'll do the night games. We'll let you know. I'll tweet it out. And with that, we'll be back Monday.